How deep and hopeless love is it to make a girl cry uncontrollably, just when she hears the name of her beloved? This pure love movie, which makes Han Xiaozhou willing to be a supporting actor, vividly depicts the throbbing and love of youth. The story begins one morning in 1999, when a girl who squeezed into a bus accidentally crashed into the arms of a teenager because of a sudden brake of the driver. And when he saw the name on the boy's school uniform, an indescribable smile appeared on the girl's face, because this boy is the crush of his girlfriend. Long before his best friend went abroad, he asked Paula to remember the name by Jingyu, because he wanted Paula to help understand the boy's preferences, so that when he returned to China, he would have more chips to pursue the person he liked. Since the boy was in the same school as them, Paula quickly agreed to his best friend's request. Coincidentally, Paula met her target on the first day of school, and for a long time after that, his eyes never left the boy. Just by looking at the boy's body shape, Laura could easily estimate the boy's height of 1.8 meters. From the empty cup that the boy threw into the trash can, she could guess that the boy liked to drink orange juice, including the other party's favorite sports. He would write it down in detail in his notebook, but the external information was far from meeting the needs of his girlfriend. So, in order to get closer to the boy, Paula quietly hid behind a lotus seed, eavesdropped on the conversation between the boy and his friends, and successfully learned that Bai Gengyu was about to participate in the interview of the broadcasting club. In order to enter the same club as the teenager, Paula also came to the scene on this day. With his excellent taekwondo skills, he successfully won the voice of everyone. But just when he thought his plan was about to succeed, the boy gave up the game in public and said that he would leave the opportunity to better classmates. In this way, Paula was successfully selected for the broadcasting group, but the boy did not enter. Fortunately, there is no way out. Xiaobai's good friend Yunhao joined the broadcasting club, and Paula deliberately approached the other party, wanting to learn some information from him. In the face of the girl's warm greeting, Yunhao turned away silently, and Paula had to focus on the boy again. On this day, he accidentally found that Xiaobai was using the pager, and Paula with sharp eyes. He quickly wrote down the phone number entered by the other party, but when he entered the last number, Yunhao suddenly blocked his gesture, but Paula had to enter numbers one by one in the phone booth. Finally, after only the last coin was left, he successfully got through to Xiaobai. But when he was about to ask for the other party's phone number, a puzzled voice came from the end of the phone. His wife realized that his identity was discovered by him. Paula fled the phone booth in a panic, but the next day he still couldn't believe Mei Yunhao's question. Even though Paula tried her best to hide her embarrassment, Yunhao was still convinced of his guess from his evasive gaze. So for the sake of fairness, Hao Yun asked the girl to take a new movie disc recently to exchange for Xiaobai's phone number, because he had learned that Paula's family opened a movie rental. And although his father had warned him not to rent it to his classmates at will, Paula still took the disc secretly at the risk of being beaten. Unfortunately, the next day he caught up with the head teacher's big search, and Paula's disc was soon found by him and he was punished. It was an unfortunate thing to kneel outside the classroom and listen to the class, but Yunhao, who passed by, took the disc in his hand with a look of schadenfreude. Fortunately, Yunhao did not experiment afterwards, but took Xiaobai to the place where he worked part-time. But at this time, Paula was still unaware that Yunhao's gaze had already revealed all kinds of tenderness, and at the summer camp the next day, he and Yunhao helped with photography. While the distance between the two was getting closer, Paula's heartbeat gradually accelerated unconsciously. Obviously he was going to shoot Xiaobai, but his camera could not help but lean towards Yunhao. The light breeze blew over the young boy's tender cheeks, and the smile raised at the corner of his mouth turned into Cupid's sword of love. It plunged into Paula's heart fiercely, and he immediately withdrew his gaze. And the trembling in his heart was probably the heart of his youth. This day, Xiaobai was surrounded by a few gangsters when he was out of school. At a critical moment, Paula, who had practiced taekwondo for 2.5 years, blocked the attack of a gangster in time, but there were too many people. So Yunhao had to take Paula in Xiaobai's hands and flee in a hurry. Seeing Han Jing, who was flashing lights not far away, gradually approached, the gangsters could only give up and flee in a hurry. What made Paula different was that he was clearly holding the hands of the two boys. Why only Yunhao felt more? It was also because of this time's help that the girl's leg was unfortunately injured. Out of guilt, Xiaobai rode a motorcycle to pick the girl up from school the next day, but he did not send the girl home. Instead, he parked the car by a bridge and expressed his gratitude to him. In the evening, the two of them came to a restaurant, and Yunhao happened to be the waiter here. Looking at Xiaobai, who was confessing to Paula, Yunhao's eyes unconsciously showed a touch of sadness, but this worry soon disappeared. Paula did not agree to Xiaobai's confession, but kept stuffing food into her mouth. For a long time after that, Xiaobai would deliberately approach the girl to express her love, but every time Paula would say evil words to her. That day, while she was drinking and partying with her roommates, the boy who lived upstairs actually took the opportunity to steal their beer. With the help of alcohol anesthesia, Paula quickly came to the boys' dormitory upstairs, but unexpectedly knocked on Yunhao's door. When the eyes of the two teams intertwined, they were instantly stunned. Suddenly, the voice of the dean came from the corridor, and at a critical moment, Yunhao had to pull the girl back to the dormitory. It was also from this day on that Paula would often look at Yunhao's face in a daze, although the three of them became the best friends. But in Paula's heart, some people were suitable for being friends, and some people would always be unable to suppress the throbbing in his heart. In the past, he just wanted to have fun, but now he was like gold. But Paula was looking forward to the days of school, that is, when he missed the handsome figure. He never thought of the other party but rushed to his side. "Yun, how brave to the heavy rain, and told the girl that I would be working part-time opposite your store starting tomorrow." Paula stopped in the garden once without a savage attitude because every time he went to work, he could see the boy who lived in his heart with just a side glance. And in order to see the boy, he would deliberately hold up the tired drop to play badminton and then take this opportunity to walk with her in the night. Yunhao took the girl to a garden where there was an ion tree, and the crystal-clear fruit made the girl very excited. She excitedly picked one, but when she looked back, she bumped into the boy's clear smile. Yunhao always recorded their moments together, and Paula with different expressions recorded every moment that made his heart beat. When their feelings were strong, both of them unconsciously leaned towards each other, but at the critical moment, a plum hit the girl's head, and they both laughed wantonly. It was these throbbing moments that made Paula sink more and more. He began to think of a sentence his girlfriend told him: "If you like someone, you can't sleep." Now, he seems to have this feeling. That day, Paula's best friend suddenly came back, and the moment they met, they both cried and hugged each other. When her best friend saw her male god, she immediately withdrew her wanton cries, and never thought that it was because of his appearance that the three of them fell into an embarrassing situation. It turned out that the boy who made her girlfriend's heart flutter was not Xiaobai, but Haoren, and the reason why he said it was Xiaobai was because Haoyi was wearing Xiaobai's school uniform at the beginning. Looking at her expectant best friend, Paula's eyes flashed with a little loss. She began to deliberately avoid the boy's eyes. Looking at her best friend who had just saved her life from surgery abroad, she felt more and more guilty in her heart. That night, she sent an email to Yunhao, asking her to go out to watch a movie. But when the boy arrived at his destination full of joy, he did not. Seeing Du Yan's face, Xiaobai took this opportunity to follow behind Paula. Unexpectedly, the girl had already fallen into deep despair. On one side was the boy he liked first, and on the other side was his best friend behind friendship. In fact, long before they met in the club, Yunhao had met Paula. It was in a bookstore. Paula couldn't reach the books on the shelf, so Yunhao took them down for him. It was just that from Yunhao's perspective, the other party cared more about his good brother Xiaobai. Until that day, the kiss in the corner completely made Yunhao fall in love and began to make his world chaotic. He fell in love with photography and wanted to record every picture of the girl as a memory. Unfortunately, now that he was about to go to study in New Zealand, he wanted to comfort the girl and let him wait for him. But now it seems that the love in his heart can only disappear completely with this unsent love letter. That night, the best friend who learned the truth suddenly found Paula. She asked Paula why she didn't tell herself everything with red eyes. Love should not be forced. His best friend couldn't bear to see them lonely, so he pretended to be sick in class that day. When Paula was about to go to the infirmary with him on her back, her best friend suddenly got up and told the girl, "Yunhao is going to New Zealand soon. Are you sure you don't want to say goodbye to him?" With the heartfelt business, Paula decided to save this relationship. He rushed downstairs desperately. At this time, Xiaobai had been waiting for a long time. It turns out that when a relationship between two people is born, everyone is willing to be a witness to their romance. Under Xiaobai's outstanding driving skills, Paula soon came to the station and found Yunhao before the last train left. Big River beat down. Come on board." The sound of the train whistle constantly urged the teenagers' footsteps, and in the end, the two people who loved each other could only turn each other's thoughts into tears at the corners of their eyes, slowly flowing in those countless lonely nights. But fortunately, the distant Cloud Queen would send him text messages from time to time, telling Paula about her daily life, and the girl would show the purest smile on her face after seeing these trivial things. They met at Seoul National University together. Even if Paula kept dialing the call machine of the Cloud number, the other end of the phone was always unable to get through. Time continued to pass, and Paula gradually adapted to the life in the university, but he still couldn't accept Yunhao's broken love. He thought that time could heal the scars caused by love, until one day when his friend introduced him to a new boy, he unexpectedly found that the boy's name was also Yunhao. "If you do that, I'll really forget you now. You won't wait? I'll just think you're dead." Many years later, Paula has grown into an adult. On this day, when he was resting, he accidentally found an invitation to a photography exhibition sent by an anonymous site. He wrote down the exhibition location and recalled that Yunhao's previous dream was to open a photography exhibition. He came to the exhibition hall with a hint of fantasy that he could meet the boy, but he really saw the plum tree he dated with Yunhao back then. Accompanied by a bright smile on Paula's face were plum petals flying all over the sky. The girl's eyes flickered with indescribable incredulity, mixed with a touch of emotion. He did not intend to prejudice the lower right corner that the author had passed away in 2001. Then, Paula saw Yunhao's younger brother, and he told Paula with sadness, "My brother has passed away for 15 years. After he died, I sorted out all the videotapes he left behind, and I knew he must want a girl to see them, because in these works all he could see were you." After returning home, Paula opened the videotape after many years in silence, and he was surprised to find that in addition to some beautiful scenery and trivial daily life, he had taken many pictures of himself, some of which even he couldn't remember when. But these videotapes once again brought the memories of the past to life. Yunhao loved the smile on Paula's face. In these videotapes, almost all of them recorded the joy on Paula's face. When the boy's face appeared again, Paula could no longer control the thoughts in her heart and slowly sobbed. "My friend thinks my car logo is out of stock." The Korean car logo isn't Alala, stepping on the bank, walking through the door, passing it to others, full of questions. Do you see all the pieces? The memories between them are forever frozen, framed in the 20th century, and the boy's life is forever sealed in the 20th century. But the tenderness between them may linger in Paula's entire life.